And tonight we start the major battle that begins on Monday in Manhattan as former President Trump's criminal hush money trial kicks off. Trump is already slamming the judge.
This judge should be recused and the case should be thrown out. He's totally conflicted. There's never been a judge more conflicted than this one. There has virtually never been anything like it.
And another issue that is top of mind for voters is the crisis on our southern border. The president's approval on immigration remains dismal. According to the latest CNBC survey, Trump leads Biden by 48 points on the issue. And this week, President Biden explores taking action in hopes of earning back trust.
Have you made a final decision on taking executive order in terms of what you want to do at the border? That includes the power to shut down the border, as it was suggested.
Well, it suggested that. We're examining whether or not I have that power.
Also this week, President Biden is taking another swing at wiping out student loan debt for nearly 300,000 borrowers. But look at this new Associated Press poll, which finds Americans think both Biden and Trump did more harm than good during both their time in the Oval Office. To discuss all this, I want to welcome in our very own pollster, Scott Rasmussen. He joins us now. Scott, welcome back to the show.
Great to be with you again. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. Okay, so considering that polls continue to show that voters don't want a rematch between Trump and Biden, but that's where we're at, how will that affect turnout in November?
Well, what's going to happen is Joe Biden will do great things for Republican turnout, and Donald Trump will do great things for Democratic turnout. What we see in the numbers, though, right now is Trump voters are far more enthusiastic about voting for him than Biden voters are for their man.
So Trump does start his civil lawsuit next week, like I mentioned. So far, we've seen his legal challenges only boost his numbers in the polls. But now that we're closer to the election, will that change?
It's impossible to know what's really going to happen because we don't know what's going to happen in the trial. But what we saw in the polling was after the first indictment, boy, there was a big impact, and support for the former president went up. The later indictments and all the rest of the news about these hearings hasn't moved the needle very much. So I'm going to guess that nobody expects to find out that Donald Trump is a saint going into this hearing. Nobody expects his opponent is a saint, and it's probably not going to have much of an impact on the election at all.
In 30 seconds here, we always talk about the economy #1, but immigration is actually #1 consistently in polling. Have you ever seen a year that anything rivaled the economy?
Sure. I was polling during the era right after 9/11. So there are always times when some issue rises up. But as a practical matter, the immigration issue right now is important, not just because of the voters are looking at it, but because they see a huge difference between the parties. And only 28% of voters think the Biden administration is even trying to secure the border. That's a big problem for the Democrats.
All right, Scott, always appreciate your time. Good to see you. And you can catch Scott Rasmussen's show right here on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern.